Hello, everybody. Buddy Web Midland, Texas. Got a little video I'm going to do for you this morning that I consider one of the most important videos there is. And it started with a Facebook post from yesterday where I titled it. That's been the name of this. I'm waiting and they're mutilating. Okay, and here, this is extremely short read. I said I sent the Texas Medical Board proof of the faked X-rays, which was done in an attempt to cover up the home invasion and capital murder attempt that left me crippled. They told me they were sending this to the enforcement division and asked for me to be patient. I'm waiting and they're mutilating. Okay, and so I'm going to show you a copy of this on first we'll look at my foot there. That's what it looks like today. You know, that's after I survived. Okay, and here it is. Dear Mr. Webb, your communication has been submitted to our Enforcement Support Division of the Texas Medical Board Enforcement Division. Please be patient as you will receive a response from the Enforcement Support regarding your communication upon completion of initial review. And that was in 2015. That was the last I've heard of that. And you know, somebody wrote here. I'm going to read it here in a minute. Going, you should have heard something back. And I said, it's been unprecedented lawlessness is what's going on. You know, homeowners all over the country are reporting people in the attic. I'm ambushed and shot. You know, burglar alarms on the attic. Proof of secret police under the home. You know, they're still police. They're lying on police reports that they're caught, they're busted, and they just keep on going day after day after day. You know, I mean, everybody knows there's $1 million underground homes here. You can see it on Google Maps. They murdered a little girl there. You know, I mean, it's absolutely lawlessness, and the crimes have never stopped. You know. Anyways, here I'm just going to go, and this will be more on the medical side, this video, and so I'm going to go over this evidence, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This tells the story. When they sneaked into my home and cut my phone lines, they never planned on me surviving, but then God saved my life, and I made it to the hospital. It's now known they took the x-rays of somebody else who had been shot with a shotgun, put my name on them. This was done because I hadn't been shot with a shotgun, but they were trying to say that I was to cover up this failed murder. Okay. The other guy was missing his heel bone as seen on the faked x-rays, so they took me into surgery and cut on my heel bone to match the fakes. Then they cut a big hole in the side to make it look like I had been shot with a shotgun when that hadn't happened. I was intentionally maimed, mutilated, and crippled for life in an effort to cover up this failed murder that had police under my home. Keep that in mind. When I got to the hospital, I had 2 small holes in my foot, and when I left, my heel bone was cut off. A huge hole was cut in the side. X-rays were faked, and lies were spread saying that I'd shot myself. These doctors can be compared to Dr. Joseph Mengele of Nazi Germany as their modern-day monsters, and it looks like there is nobody to stop them, no matter how much proof or evidence is found. Okay, I didn't name any doctors in here other than Dr. Hinton, and that's one I have proof of, but I don't know if he was the one that faked the X-rays. I just suspect it, you know, and I'm gonna show you that in a minute. Before the murder attempt, the ex-wife came home from work extremely upset, and she whispered in my ear, "The secret is a group of doctors are killing people for profit." She was dead serious, and I believed her then, and I believe her now. What she didn't tell me was that her brother-in-law was a doctor, and come to find out, he was the ER doctor at the hospital on the night these x-rays were faked. I've wondered if her brother-in-law was one of the doctors that she was telling me about. If my murder had been ruled an accident, then she was going to get around $650,000 in cash and assets, but the big prize was my paid-for home with its secret underground home in the backyard where they're holding underground parties, you know, where the young girl was murdered at in 2010. I've long suspected it was those doctors that planned my murder. Keep in mind that she didn't tell me they were just trying to kill me for profit, but people for profit. They're after you and your family with nobody to stop them. Okay, this is the transcript from the court case, 318th Judicial Court. There's the cause number on December 18, 2013. Okay, and I'm testifying, and I said this. You know, she said the secret is a group of doctors killing me for profit. You know, well, what she didn't tell me the entire time we was married is her brother-in-law was a doctor. Okay, and so, and actually the ex-wife, you know, later is the one that told me that her brother-in-law was my ER doctor. She's the one that hinted that my x-ray or that my medical records had been faked, and that's when I went down and got them, and sure enough, she was right. It was thanks to her. You know, she seemed upset about what happened to me. That was actually the truth there. Okay. underneath this, I said, not only did I testify to this under oath, but I also told the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, the Midland Sheriff, and Texas Ranger Strain. This is an email conversation with him where he asked me, why would doctors kill people for profit? And I suggested that he ask the ex-wife who told me this, and I reminded him that I'd provided him a recording of her admitting to trying to extort money from me over the crimes at this house. I was hoping he would use that as leverage to get her to snitch on them doctors that are killing people for profit. Okay, so there's my email here in April 4th, 2017, Ranger Strain, and I said, I believe the biggest crime is what I was told by the ex concerning the doctors. She whispered in my ear, the secret is a group of doctors killing people for profit. And then he replies back, Ranger Strain does, Jeffrey Strain says, how would a doctor make money killing people? Okay, that was a very rare question that he asked him, because he'd asked for the complete story. I sent him like 70 fact-filled emails, but so here I replied back, and I said I can only guess or speculate. You need to ask her, right? And I reminded him about this follow the money recording of her that was admitting to trying to extort money from me over the crimes at this house. And I was hoping, like, hey, we'll arrest you for extortion, send you to prison if you don't tell us or whatever. That's what I was hoping. Let's stop these doctors are killing people for profit. She's the one that could bust this crime ring. I believe that. Okay. I said, this is a recording of the ex-wife admitting to extortion for all the money. And I have a transcript of that. Here I'm talking in the video, and I can play a minute of it, but here on it, I'm reminding her where she stuck her finger in my chest, and if you're going to pay me $1,800 or $1,200 a month, I'm going to lie about everything I seen and tell everybody you're crazy. And then she says, I made a mistake. She didn't deny it, she just said it was a mistake. She actually said a guy named Greg advised her to try to extort money from me. That's what she said. You're the only one that's going to make money off the house. I made a mistake, And then as soon as we go to court, that's what we're talking about. She called me delusional in court, along with her lifelong childhood friend, Rosie Rodriguez, the detective that ruled my murder an accident, okay? So she carried out the extortion threat when I didn't pay her. We'll just listen to a minute of it. Here it is.
You're the one that's going to make money.
You're the one.
Figure out why. Why would this all happen? And then all of a sudden, wow, who the hell is going to follow the cash? Follow the cash. Who's going to make money off this? Off this house being broken in? And how in the world can you know and say that somebody's coming across the attic and breaking in the house and turn around and go, here's what you're going to do. You're going to pay me $1,800 or $1,200 a month, or I'm going to lie about everything that I've seen and tell everybody you're crazy. You're the only one that was going to make money off the house. Does that tie you back into the people breaking in the house? No. Conspiracy?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
Absolutely not.
See, she says that Greg had told her to do it, okay? So it wasn't her fault because Greg told her to try extortion. But the whole point was I'm trying to get Ranger Strain to use this, evidence against her to get her to tell us about the doctors are killing people for profit, Anyway, so moving on. I showed this video to a nurse at the doctor's office one day, and her mouth fell open because there's no doubt they faked my x-rays. And I'm talking about this video I called Dr. Glass's Wife, okay? And that's one of the main medical videos that I share there because it's it shows all the evidence. I went ahead and went under it, and I laid out some of the evidence that I show in that video. I said, seen in this video, my first proof of the faked x-rays was at the office of Dr. Glass, the late Dr. Glass, when he showed me an x-ray that was supposedly my foot, but it was missing a recent and severe broken toe bone. When I asked him about it, he started stuttering like he was busted and tried to show me where the break was going in the opposite direction. I was absolutely sure they faked my x-rays, but that wasn't the only proof. I actually took this picture with my camera on my phone in 2012 of the light box on the wall when he brought in that x-ray and stuck it up here, and I had a printed x-ray here from 4 months before, and I was showing the bone here. Okay, here there's no broken bone, but here my foot has a broken bone right here. I mean, it was severely broken just right before the murder attempt. I broke my toe in half, and but that broken toe bone was missing from the faked x-rays. That was my first proof. Okay. My second proof was when I noticed the heel bone was missing on the x-rays dated before surgery. And since it's proven that my heel bone wasn't shot off, then it proved this wasn't my foot in the x-ray. In fact, the ER doctor stated on the report that I had a through and through gunshot wound, which appears to have come from a shotgun. It's now known that I've been shot with a .45 handgun loaded with the special plastic tip pellet filled bullet to make it appear that I've been shot with my shotgun when that isn't happened. And this video isn't about showing the proof that I wasn't shot with my shotgun. There's a whole long list of proof absolutely proving I wasn't shot with my shotgun. Okay, first of all, there wasn't enough physical room in there, you know. And then Lisa Rogers told me I was shot with a .45. That's why I believe I was shot with a .45, you know. This was the x-ray 4 months before the murder attempt, and it shows you what my heel bone looks like, and that's all I'm doing is using it for comparison. This is my heel bone. This is an x-ray from the night of the murder attempt, okay, and it has my name on it, and it's before surgery. It's dated 1/28, and you can see the heel bone's missing, okay. You see the heel bone? You see the heel bone is gone before surgery. That's where I noticed, wait a minute, the heel bone's gone, and I knew it wasn't shot off, you know, because, I mean, I saw it. I had 2 small holes in my foot when I got to the hospital, and the doctor even stated on the ER report I had a through and through gunshot wound. So that was my second proof that my x-rays are fake. And then my third proof was when I noticed the timestamps on the x-rays was 10 minutes before they'd been ordered. As seen here, the ER doctor ordered 3 x-rays at 10:37 p.m. Keep in mind, I later, I found out that the ER doctor was the brother-in-law of the ex-wife I didn't know about. She's the one who told me that there was a group of doctors killing people for profit. Okay, but then a still secret lab tech named User in Interface canceled the doctor's orders and reordered 2 x-rays. And this lab tech, that User in Interface, then returned the x-rays that were timestamped at 10:27, 10 minutes before they had been ordered. Okay, I wondered if the still secret lab tech was Dr. Hinton, because I saw where he billed my insurance company for x-rays from this night when his name wasn't found on the ER report. So, you're supposed to be able to trace whoever works on you at the hospital, who the lab tech is, who the doctors are. You ain't supposed to have secret doctors and secret lab techs. But here's this secret lab tech. I've never been able. I went to the hospital trying to get this, get them identified, and they wouldn't tell me who User in Interface is. But I'm showing you here. It was right. When I got the reports, it showed you the ER doctor orders 3 x-rays, canceled by User in Interface, and then they order back 2 x-rays, and I think what was going on, one, they were already working on faking the x-rays, and they didn't have enough to go around. I don't have enough for 3, so I got to cancel and put 2 in there. And then you put the timestamp back here on the x-rays themselves, and that's when I found out 12:27 right here, 11:27, and it was 10 minutes before they're ordered. Okay, that was my third proof. Okay, and then here, finally here, in a couple months after the murder attempt, I saw where Dr. Hinton stated on a radiological report that he compared my x-rays taken on 1/17/12 to other x-rays I had taken on 1/19/12. That sounds reasonable, right? Except the problem is I was shot 11 days later on 1/28/12. I knew this wasn't a typo since it was 2 different dates, which has led me to suspect that somebody else was shot 11 days before me with the shotgun in that same foot, and they took that guy's x-rays and put my name on them. I believe this was done because he had been shot with a shotgun and I hadn't been, but they were trying to say that I had. It's now known that police were under my home on the night I was shot, and I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut. Obviously, this other guy is missing his heel bone, so they took me into surgery and cut off my heel bone to match the fakes. They also cut a large hole in the side to make it appear that I've been shot with a 12-gauge shotgun when that isn't what happened. And I don't know how many people told me, oh, if you shot point blank range with a 12-gauge shotgun, you wouldn't have a foot right now. And I believe that to be true. It didn't happen, but they were trying to cover up this failed murder. See, the plan was when they cut my phone lines that I was supposed to die, ex-wife was going to get the house and everything's hunky-dory, they were going to laugh all the way to the bank, except I crawled out, shot, threaded the needle, God saved my life, This is that, I'm asking who was shot on January 17th, because here is from Dr. Hinton, gunshot wound injury 117 compared to 119, multiple metallic fragments, and he's comparing them to x-rays. It's not even, I wasn't even shot till 11 days later, and this is from Dr. Hinton right here, okay? I later found out that Dr. Hinton I believe shared an office with the ER doctor. I think they probably were friends. You know, my brother-in-law I didn't know about. Notice that Dr. Hinton's name isn't listed on the ER report like all the other doctors and nurses, but he charged me and my insurance company $76 for x-rays on that. Now, I didn't find this till several years later from Cigna, from my insurance company, and it's showing here Thomas Hinton, Dr. Hinton, right? And look at the date on it, 1/28/12. That is the night that I was ambushed and shot. That is the timestamps on them faked x-rays, okay? And you know, and so this is the information that I was turning over to the Texas Medical Board, to the DHS, to the FBI, to, you know, to all these law enforcement groups, going, look what happened here, you know? Look what's going on. We know that my heel bone wasn't missing before surgery because the ER doctor stated I had a through and through gunshot wound, which appears to have come from a shotgun. Remember, I said that a while ago. This shows the proof of it. This is from the ER report right here. And this is from the ER doctor, who I've never named because it's the brother-in-law. And there it is. Right ankle exhibits a through and through gunshot wound, which appears to have been sustained by a shotgun blast. What odd wording. You know, I mean, it's just real weird that he worded it that way. It's almost like he knew I was shot with a you know, a gun to make it appear that I was shot with a shotgun when that's not happened. And that's kind of what I felt like, you know. And, you know, I also noticed because they timestamped, he went back, that ER doctor, he went back looking at these records a month later. You know, I'm thinking he was looking for, you know, you know, because they were doing some fishy stuff here. There ain't no doubt about that. Okay. Here's Elizabeth Chance Saeed, and she's a nurse, you know. She says, you should have heard resolution on this long ago, you know. And I mentioned that earlier, and I said, what is going on here is unprecedented lawlessness. There should have been resolution for the thousands of burglaries and thefts occurring because of people in the attic here and across the nation. The secret police proven to be under my home when I was ambushed and shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut. $1 million underground homes where we all know a little girl was murdered at in 2010, or the murder of the last girl that lived here, and the poison gas they pumped in my home over and over, waiting to destroy my kidneys and murder me. This criminal gang is rigging homes and then murdering one homeowner after another with nobody to stop them, regardless of how much evidence or proof there is. And, you know, I wrote that this morning, you know, and then, you know, I mean, it's absolute lawlessness is what's going on here. My next comment, I said, after this intentional maiming and mutilation came the repeated and desperate attempts to talk me into allowing them to amputate my leg at the knee. I believe they were trying to cut off the evidence of these nightmarish and monstrous medical crimes. Thanks to clues from my dad, I said no over and over and over. So there was 2 surgeries, and after that first surgery, they come in, you know, we need to go back in on second surgery. We want you to think about letting us cut off your leg at the knee. You know, we highly recommend it. Yeah, your leg's not going to be any good. You know, and you know, and I looked on my dad, and he was upset, pissed off. Man, he's shaking his head no, and you know, and obviously, you know, I know my late dad that he knew something. He knew something about these crimes going here, and he's telling me no, so I said no, you know, and you know, and that's the only reason I have my leg today, you know. But I went back to the medical records, and I'm looking, and every time they mention amputation, because it was going on every single day. I was in the hospital 10 days. Every single day they were coming in here, you know, and so first of all, this comes from the police report. Oh, Rosa Rodriguez, the friend of the ex-wife, right? She's like, buddy had surgery, her foot was not amputated. You know, she wanted to have my leg cut off because it was proof that I wasn't shot with my gun. That means somebody else shot me, you know, and now we know police were under my home, right? I mean, that's proven, right? Here's one of them. An attempt was made to place them because we thought the police department required that he not go home. They were trying to have me committed, calling me crazy, and I was a crime victim. You know, I'm home minding my own business. They come human hunting, you know. They come shot, cut my phone lines and shot me. I don't know if it's police shot me, but somebody under my home shot me, and we know police were under my home that night. I offered this patient a right below the knee amputation. I explained that I thought he might linger this for a while and then require an amputation, but he declined. He understood I would recommend amputation. Okay, that was one day. Here's another one. I believe that a major problem may well require another amputation. That's another day. Here's another day. He does not wish to have an amputation to see if the limb can be saved. The patient has been warned that this is not likely. That's another day. He will consider right BKA below the knee amputation for a second look. That's another day. We had further discussions regarding continued wound care versus versus BKA. He will consider BKA. That's another day. Patient declines amputation at this time. He understands he's likely to require amputation. That's another day. And then here, feeling better, not willing to have a BKA, and here, placement as required by the police, right? See, so they were trying to have me put in a mental institution, but I was cleared by mental health, and so that didn't work. And so I wanted to show you these horrific and nightmarish medical crimes. And, when it comes back down to, there was police involved in these crimes. Okay, I'm going to show you what I can't show on Facebook right here. This is what my foot looked like. This picture right here was 17 days after the murder attempt. You could look inside my foot, right? You could see the bones 17 days later. Now keep in mind, when I got to the hospital, I had 2 small holes in my foot that the doctor described as a through and through gunshot wound that appears to come from a shotgun. But when I left, they cut the back of my foot off, they faked them x-rays, and then they cut that giant hole in the side to make it appear that I've been shot with a shotgun when that's not what happened. And these are some of the other pictures of 2 weeks. It was actually more than 2 weeks later. It's a miracle I have my foot, and that's what I walk around on today. This is my foot today, and this is literally that. I mean, this is monstrous what happened. And so why you would contact the Texas Medical Board, why you would contact the FBI. I mean, this isn't just it's not an accidental issue right here. I believe they were intentionally, on purpose, trying to cover up a premeditated murder attempt. Maybe these doctors were the ones that were killing people for profit. I wondered if the other guy getting shot 11 days before me gave them an idea how to kill me and call it an accident. Because see, I was a problem for them, right? I'm tear gassing the attic at the time. I'm calling law enforcement. I'm trying to find the way how they're getting in the house. I mean, I was a major problem. I was going to expose the underground home that's in the backyard where they murdered that little girl in 2010. And then that's going to expose that they murdered the guy that lived here before me the week before the 2008 oil show started. Anyway, I just wanted to show y'all that. This should be headline news. But anyway,